Welcome back, everybody. Episode 9 of Season 3. I believe we're on. Is that right, Rupia?
That's right.
9, of course, being my lucky number.
Oh, great number.
Yeah. Did you know that? Did you know 9 was my...
I knew it was your number growing up.
Yeah. Back in the day.
What's lucky about it?
Just, it was a family number. My brother wore it, then I wore it. So,
We're like 12 in my family.
Yeah, 12. 12's a good number. We got a good number 12 on the high school team. So the voice that you're hearing, everybody, jumped right in. Pete Van Haur, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Say hello to Pete. Say hello, Pete.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
Pete's the newest victim of the podcast. He said he listened to a couple to get ready. Is that right, Pete?
I did.
Yeah.
I like to do my homework.
Yeah, you're a big homework guy. You like to be prepared.
Not really.
Preparedness.
Yes, preparedness is important.
Yeah, well, that's essentially homework, right? At this stage of our lives, because you're not getting an assignment at this, for work. But if you're going into a meeting such as this, you would be prepared.
Well, I just didn't want to come here and not put out my best performance for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have that effect on people.
For you.
Yeah. See what he said there? For you. So general rules, no politics, no hot button topics, no triggers, right? No war, no politics, no religion, none of that nonsense. We stay away from all that stuff. All right?
That's going to narrow the scope a little.
Well, you know what? You'd be surprised. You got a lot to talk about. You're the topic. You're the topic. But before we get to you, we like to talk about me for a little bit. I mean, that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
That's what I got out of my homework.
Yeah. There's a big section on me, and then we talk about you for a little bit. But we haven't been on since we had Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, Keith?
It was great, thanks.
Yeah,
How was yours?
It was good. Pete, you had a good vacation?
Wonderful.
Was Thanksgiving at home? Where'd you go?
We hosted at our house.
Oh,
yes.
nice.
Yep.
That's very nice. Now, there was, and we're going to get into this a little bit, but that house that you're in now has a long connection to your family, right?
Long connection.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So is your mother's house? What's the story, quickly?
So the story is my grandfather moved from Braintree to Duxbury in 1952.
Okay.
It's a small little cottage in Duxbury.
Yep.
He bought that house. That's where my mother and her family grew up.
Okay.
They sold the house in 1972 to my first grade teacher, Mrs. Shylock.
Really?
And
was she hot?
She was, thinking back, she's 87 now.
I'm just wondering, and everybody's got that teacher.
She's 87 now.
I said, was she hot, not is she hot. That's control the English language. Mrs. Cochimilio, my 5th grade teacher, was very attractive.
Good Irish lady.
Yeah, Mrs. Cochimilio? Or Mrs. her.
Oh,
Shylock's not.
No, Shylock's not.
That's a tough last name.
Yeah. It's spelled with a C-Y.
Really?
Yeah. Never saw that coming.
No, what have I? So she buys the house.
So she buys the house, and I don't know, what is that, 50 years later?
Yeah.
I was in a position to buy it. It came for sale, so we bought it, and now I'm hosting my mother for Thanksgiving at her childhood Thanksgiving table.
Wow.
That's great.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Right? That's pretty cool. So it sounds like, Rupe, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it was great.
All
Very
right.
low key.
Yeah?
Easy going.
You and Johnny Cops?
Me and Johnny Cops.
Yeah? Did you go somewhere?
His sisters, then my sisters.
Okay, so both families.
Both families.
All right, so we're checking all the boxes here. There's got to be some big news coming soon.
I'll let you know.
Johnny Cops better get his ass in gear, is all I'm saying.
I'll send him a picture of Mrs. Shylock.
Yeah. So after Thanksgiving, historically on the girls' side of hockey is the club hockey state tournament. And Annabelle played in hers. They didn't perform all that great. They played fine. They didn't catch any wins. But more importantly, or more significant, is it was her last state tournament and her last game as a breaker and the last game that I will ever coach her.
Wow.
Yeah. So started coaching her back in like 2014 with Duxbury Youth Hockey. And then coached her and like 3 or 4 of her friends that were there the whole time for like 9 years at the Breakers. And now you're going through that a little bit with Harper now. How old's Harper?
She's 10.
Yeah, so that's you 10?
Yeah.
That's right where we started. So you're at the beginning and I'm at the end. And it was emotional. I was an emotional guy.
How do you feel?
I'm over it now. I kept telling myself, be happy that it happened, not sad that it's over. But it was emotional. That last game was about the guys that Tom Benson and Sean Murphy, who coached with me, had been coaching with me for all 9 years, most close 8 with one and 7 with the other. So it was like it's kind of like the end of an era, breaking up of a family type thing. Not like a mafia family because they haven't figured that out yet. But it was sad. It was sad. But now it's over, and then I got to coach against her, right, Keithy?
Oh, we did, yeah. Against, we had a big scrimmage last Wednesday.
Yeah, against BB&N. So
Yeah.
Duxbury scrimmage, BB&N, and I coached against Annabelle.
We
We coached against Annabelle.
Build her up and then take her down.
No, she shut us out.
shut us out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2-0.
I know. 2-0, Annabelle.
Great game, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
Annabelle.
So, couple things that bother me that I've noticed. Not a big fan of baby talk to the baby. Like the, oh, little baby, so cute, little baby. Drives me crazy.
How would you speak to the baby?
Hey, how you doing, bud?
To a baby.
Yeah, that's how I talk to my kid. We never baby talked in our house. I'm telling you. Ask Marlene. Marlene, if you're listening, which she isn't, we never did baby. And you know what bothers me even more?
A Gucci goo.
Is when people baby talk to dogs. That really bothers me, Pete. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know, I've had bad luck with dogs.
Okay.
I've had 2 dogs. They both lasted not very long.
Okay. Is that a user error? What happened?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not a good master. But no, I can't remember talking to the dogs with baby talk. But I do talk to the babies with baby talk. The babies.
You have babies now?
No.
Okay. When you did have
When
babies,
I did have babies,
you were
we
hey,
were
look at the baby,
yeah.
so cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we never did that.
I definitely did that.
You did?
I still talk to my kids that way.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
see-
Fanny, you're so cute, Fanny.
I was just we weren't baby talkers. What do you think, Root Beer?
Heck yeah.
Baby talk
Yes, all day.
to the dog?
Both.
Really? All the time?
Anyone who lets me.
Just- Oh, baby. It just got a little weird up in here. Keithy's got his hand raised.
Here's a question.
Oh,
How
my
do you
goodness.
not? It's instinct. You see something cute, it just
Yeah, I don't know. It drives me crazy. Why would you talk to him like that?
baby talk. How you talk to a baby.
Yeah, but that baby, what if baby doesn't want to hear that? He just wants the normal talk. Why is this guy talking to me? How do you know they're not in the head? Like, why is this guy talking to me like this? I understand what he's saying. It's bothersome to me.
You don't.
It's bothersome to me. And then the dog, oh, look at the cute little doggy.
Oh
No,
yeah.
it's a cute dog. It's a cute dog. That's what I would say.
But dogs respond more to a higher pitch.
Is that true?
I think so.
You have scientific proof of that? Or are you just making shit up now?
My dog does.
Okay.
So science.
Which dog, Johnny Cops or your actual dog? All right, moving on. Moving on. So the other thing that I've been paying a lot of attention to is the way that these teenagers are speaking today.
Yeah.
Have you heard the slang that they're using?
It's unbelievable.
Do you understand any of it?
No.
How old your oldest, Pete?
16, right in the thick of it.
Right. So
That's cap.
so that's Cap, right?
Yeah.
Is she lit?
She's lit.
Every sentence start with brah. What's up, brah?
Slay.
Brah.
And they text it too.
Yeah.
You have to be able to read it. Not only speak the language, but read the language. Maybe I'll start talking baby to her.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You know.
Yeah, what's up, brah? That's lit. That's lit. It's unbelievable.
It's the lingering of it too.
Spilling tea and sipping tea. You know those two?
Spilling tea.
Spilling tea is when you're like gossiping, and sipping tea is when like if I believe in what you're saying. I'm picking it up. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Sipping tea.
How about that 8?
What's that?
It's like, oh, that 8. Like, that's awesome.
Oh, like mid?
you
That's not mid.
Ate that.
Oh, that's 8. Yeah.
You ate that.
You
Well,
ate
if like
that.
mid, it's like that's like middle of the road, right?
Yeah, like unimpressive.
Yeah. What's up? That's mid.
Yeah, she's like,
Like she's pretty. Nah, she's mid.
She's
like
mid. Right in the middle. So, which got me thinking. All right, so you have this slang that these kids are speaking, but you ever notice that people like foreigners, like we had, like the kid Marco who works here, he's Portuguese, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can speak like 3 or 4 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, English, maybe 3. You ever notice that people from other countries can speak a lot more languages than we can?
yeah, we're not that smart.
No, we're not
No, we're not.
at all.
No.
And you ever notice how hard it is to learn the English language? I was watching some comedian, and he had a, oh God, if I told you the comedian, you know who he was. But like, the different spellings of words that sound different, like tomb is Tomb, comb is Comb. Shouldn't it be coom, like tomb? But it's comb, right?
Right.
So think about how hard it is to learn the English language. Do you know? Can you speak another language?
No,
Not even close.
no. And you know, it's embarrassing. So this morning I had a call with people in Japan.
Yeah.
They're talking in English
Right.
fluently.
Yeah. And you're understanding them perfectly fine. You're having a
Yeah. And then they go away and they talk, Japanese.
yeah.
And they just
They're
look
definitely
at us, and
talking about you, too.
Oh, yeah. They just look at us like we're complete morons.
Yeah.
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 You know what it is? I think we're arrogant. We don't desire to learn another language.
Well, because everybody learned our language.
That's right.
Which kind of, that's kind of
Mid.
no. It's definitely not mid.
Above
It's,
mid.
That's total. That's total 8.
That's all. Is it was
We ate that. Bruh. My Hank's like, bruh, where you going? I'm like, I'm not your brother.
My nephew does that. And he's
Bruh.
7.
Yeah. So that's how you have to communicate with high schoolers now.
My son's the same way.
He is?
Well, he said that's sus.
Oh, suspect.
And I chased him around the house because I thought he said you suck.
Did you catch him?
I caught him eventually. The story gets better. So he said something to me like, Dad, that's sus. And I thought he said suck. So I'm chasing him. I go, what'd you say? And I said sus. I go, what does it mean? He's like, I don't know what it means. And then so we switch rooms. And then my daughter, who's crazy,
Who's 5?
walks up to him, and I see the smile on her face. And that smile is either the cat's hanging from the hockey net outside or something else happened in the house. She walks up, high five up, and she goes, slay. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they're talking a different language.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, divided by a common language. I think that's what they say about us and the people from England. We're divided by a common language. Because you ever hear an English person speak the English language? They're speaking a different language than we are.
Proper.
Yeah, proper English.
Yes.
We are not. We're speaking American.
Yep.
And we're bastardizing it even more with our kids, with all these slang words.
And certain people drop their R's.
Yeah, well, that's an accent that's because of where you grew up, and I grew up here, so there's no R's. So I'm not bastardizing anything. This is the way I learned to talk. So you should blame my parents, not me, because that's the way I would learn to talk. Keithy, you got any jokes?
No, I don't. But what I did do when I was doing my research for jokes, I went down this rabbit hole on Yo Mama jokes.
Okay. New segment, everybody.
Dad jokes versus Yo Mama jokes.
I couldn't find any good dad jokes. And again, this rabbit hole just opened up and I fell right in. So Yo Mama's so fat.
It's already funny.
I took a picture of her last Christmas and it's still printing. Oh.
Your mama's so fat, she used a VCR for a pager. Remember that one?
Your mama's so fat. Her belly button gets home 15 more minutes before she does.
Oh my God! I can't believe we have a new segment on this show, everybody.
That's I won't go. Well, no.
One more.
All right. Your mama's so stupid.
No.
She climbed over a glass wall to see what was on the other side.
Oh my goodness. Okay, there's that. So, did you hear that Sylvester Stallone was trying to do a movie about classical music? He was trying to. It was him, Van Damme, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Stallone said, "Well, I'll be Beethoven," and Van Damme said, "I'll be Mozart," and Schwarzenegger said, "I'll be Bach." I thought that was a pretty good one. Do you know Chuck Norris kept a diary? Did you know he kept a diary?
I did not, Dan.
Yeah, it's called the Guinness Book of World Records. So we'll get into I got a couple more stories to tell. So I like this one. This is kind of a you'll like this one too because we were talking about being prepared and stuff. So an old farmer, he's out trying to find a new farmhand and he's interviewing these young guys and he asks the young guy, why should I hire you? And the young guy says, because I can sleep through the storm. The farmer says, well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like you, and I'm going to hire him. So he hires him, and 4 days later, of course, there's a big storm in the middle of the night, and he wakes up and the wife wakes up and they're calling for the farmhand, and the farmhand is sound asleep, not waking up through this storm. So the farmer, he's all upset. He gets up and he checks the shutters, and the shutters are fastened down. He goes to the fire to make sure there's enough wood. There's enough wood there. He goes outside to make sure all the tools are put away. All the tools are put away. He looks at the tractors in the garage. All the animals are safe. They got plenty of food. And he realizes this is why the kid could sleep through the storm, because he had prepared for the storm. So when the storm came, he didn't panic.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good story, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I should have saved it to the end, though, I think.
Mm.
No? I'm going to tell a real estate story, and then we're going to move on here. So Steve Wynn bought a parking lot in Las Vegas. He hadn't done any real estate deals. This is how Steve Wynn gets his start. Steve Wynn buys a parking lot next to Caesars. He buys it for $1.2 million. He convinces the bank to give him all the money. So the bank gives him $1.2 million, and then he goes out and he gets a billboard, puts up a giant billboard that says he's going to build a casino right there. Takes out a big ad in the newspaper that he's going to put a casino right next to Caesars Palace. Caesars Palace gets nervous, turns around, 10 months later buys the property back from him for $2.2 million. He takes all that money, parlays it into who he is today. That's how Steve Wynn got his start. Completely bluffed Caesars Palace, and they bought it.
That's a Vegas way to
Right?
do business.
That's a
I like
good.
that.
I figured you would. I found that. I'm like, my next guest is really gonna like this one. I'll save the last one because we do have a potting story, right? So we'll get into Mr. Pete Van Haur right now. So Pete, where were you born, buddy?
Right down the street in Weymouth, South Shore Hospital.
South Shore Hospital. So was I. So this goes back to the question of when someone asks you where you were born, do you tell them the town in which the hospital is, or do you tell them the hometown? The guests go back and forth. I tell people I was born in Weymouth, grew up in Hanover.
Yep. Weymouth, grew up in Duxbury.
Okay, grew up in Duxbury. And who was in the house when you were growing up in Duxbury?
Mom, dad, my older sister,
Okay.
my youngest sister.
All right, so there's three of you.
Yes.
Anybody still now? The sister's still in Duxbury,
My
right?
youngest sister's in Duxbury.
Yeah.
My older sister's in Durango, Colorado.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd she end up out there?
Hard to get out there. She's the hippie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's way of life out there.
Yeah.
Very calm.
She's very calm.
She's very calm.
The opposite of
The
you.
opposite of me.
Yeah. Although you're now calm. You're calmer, and we'll get to that part of your life. But growing up, sports, what are you doing?
Played hockey, played baseball, played lacrosse, played soccer. Did all the typical things.
All the typical things that you do growing up in a town like Duxbury.
Yeah.
And did you have any coaches or teachers coming up along the way that kind of nudged you in a certain direction?
I was doing my homework.
Yeah, well, as you should, as any.
And listening about, different people. You'd mentioned Frank Federico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Frankie
he coached me.
He did.
He did. He coached me for the South Shore Dynamos.
Yeah.
I think I was 7th or 8th grade.
So what's your birth year then? You 78?
78.
Okay, so you're a couple years after me.
I was. Chris, his son, was on the team 1 or 2 years.
He was my
me.
year. Chris was my year, yeah.
Yeah, and so he was my coach in 8th grade, and I'll always remember that year. I mean, he was a great coach, motivator.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. He was a good coach. The town growing up in Duxbury, that's when everyone, it wasn't like it is today. You played town, it was serious hockey.
Yeah, it was good hockey.
I had Steve Woods and Tom McCafferty, both played Division I hockey, and I had them from the time I was 9 years old right up through.
Wow.
So I always had good coaching growing up. It was good.
Yeah, that's it's different now, but I can always remember playing Duxbury and having them be fantastic at hockey. I think was it Craigie's year? Were you on the team that won the state championship?
Right before, I was after them.
You were after them. Yeah, and you were before them, right? Yeah. They beat us. I was playing in Hanover. They beat us pretty handily all year long that year. What about high school? You go to Duxbury High?
High school, went to Duxbury High. Played hockey there, played lacrosse there.
State champ.
No, we lost to Hingham. Still remember.
That's crushing.
Yeah. You know what happened?
I can't wait to know.
Took a slap shot. Kid blocked it off the
Shin pads?
Shin pads went down.
You took the slap shot?
Yeah, my fault.
That you just scream constantly on the bench. Don't hit shin pads.
Yep.
No shin pads.
Yep.
Just echoing through the rink.
Doesn't bother me though.
No. I'm not holding on to it 30 years later. So who was the coach at Duxbury High?
Peter Segessi.
Okay. So was were you with my cousin then? Like Mike Nigerian? Was he?
He was after me.
Okay.
Yeah, he was after.
So he was what, like born in 80, I think, maybe?
Yeah, I graduated in 96.
Okay.
He was probably on the team as a sophomore, junior, maybe right after I graduated.
Okay. All right. And then any teachers that sort of struck a chord with you, or was school secondary?
School was secondary for me.
Okay.
Honestly was.
Now, there's some legendary stories about Pete working as like a kid, right? So how old were you when you started working and making money?
I mean, I started working right off the bat at the paper route as early as you could carry papers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I really started.
Yeah.
And then the paper route people turned into my landscaping clients.
Okay, so you had a landscaping business.
Then I had the
How old were you
business.
when you started your landscaping business?
Yeah, so I had enough cash to buy a 1987 Chevy S10.
So where'd the cash come from?
Landscaping, sweeping construction sites, just doing anything, washing dishes at milepost. I mean,
Anything to make a buck.
Anything to make a buck.
Okay.
Anything to make a buck. And I think I paid $1,400 for the thing. It was a 1987 Chevy S10 converted 1978 engine.
Okay.
Stick shift, which it previously was automatic.
Okay.
To go in reverse, you had to put it in reverse and then shift it into reverse. And it was unleaded, converted into diesel.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it actually said unleaded fuel only, but you had to put in diesel. So
Nothing could go wrong with
nothing could go wrong. But that was my truck, and then I bought that. Bought a push lawnmower. Started with 3-4 clients, and by my senior year, I had quite a few. It was good business.
So you must have started right around when you got your license.
Yeah, I was taking the bus after school to people's houses,
Okay.
and they would let me use their lawnmower.
Okay. So instead of getting on bus B and going home, you would get on bus F and go to the Smiths and cut their grass.
Yes.
Talk about hustling, right? Everybody else going home to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He's going to make himself $22 to cut Mrs. Jones's lawn.
Yeah,
With her lawnmower.
Yeah, with her lawn, then walking home. I mean, how you must have.
I'd either walk or my mother was working at the video scene. You remember the video scene in Hall's Corner?
Yep.
Too.
So my mother was renting videos at the video scene. So this particular house is on Surplus Street. So I finish up on Surplus, walk Washington. And she'd go there and
Shoot you home.
She'd shoot me home.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't there some line in what was your senior year quote? Was like, "See you when I'm a millionaire" or something? Wasn't there some quote like that?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's true, and you can find it.
It's out there, right?
It's out there. It goes on and on. Party, 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 party. The number 12, hockey, and then it says, "Can't wait to make my first million."
That's what it is. Can't wait to make my first million. So obviously, money was a big nudge for you all through high school and growing up.
It was, and I've actually reflected a lot on that because
Okay.
this can you can get wrapped around it, and it can go bad pretty quickly if you really.
You mean the obsession with money?
The obsession with it, the idolizing of it, and everything else. I've tried to get better at that as I've gotten older, but I look back at that time. It was the immediate gratification. School didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
You study, and I didn't really care about the grade.
Right.
I go to someone's house. I cut the grass for 45 minutes. They hand me $20. That made sense to me.
Right. You can get your head around that.
Rinse and repeat that, and you got something.
Yeah.
And, you grow up in a town like Duxbury, you see a lot of nice stuff.
Yeah.
And so you say, I want that, and you got to work for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm now, and I kind of let Annabelle slide on the whole work thing. Like she worked but didn't work, but now I'm trying to get Rose and Hank to work more. So they're both down the bog working like Hank worked 4 hours this weekend and Rose worked 3 hours this weekend.
Very important.
Yeah, I
Very
think it's important.
Yeah, Luke's 8.
Yeah.
So he made flyers.
Okay.
Lightning Luke's Landscaping.
Okay.
And he put them in the mailboxes out
Yeah.
around the neighborhood. We got 3 calls.
Okay.
And, we took my truck, couple of barrels, couple of rakes.
Yeah.
Showed up at the houses. And they were serious. One had a gravel driveway. You ever weed a gravel driveway?
You got to wear gloves.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
So we show up to weed this gravel driveway.
This is you and Luke. You're
Me and
8-year-old.
Luke, you can't change the spots on a leopard. So if I'm going to show up there and show them how to do it, we're going to do a good job.
Right.
Right? So
That's
we do,
so cute.
So
It's
we,
amazing.
So we're
Lightning
doing
boots.
this. We're doing this, and we do such a good job. She hires us to do the entire driveway.
Okay.
Started off with the little turnoff where you park the car.
Yeah, in the front.
Now she wants us to do the whole driveway, and so we did. He made some money.
Good for him.
He's learning.
Yeah, so it's valuable lessons there.
Do you have T-shirts made?
No, but I did when I ran my company. It was called Jack of All Trades.
Oh,
I
really?
still have a T-shirt. I should have brought it.
You should have brought the jack of all. I think we might have to send us a picture, and she can incorporate it in the Root Beer can incorporate it in the podcast. So, how many clients that when your senior year? How many clients did you have? Do you think?
Senior in high school, probably 50. When I got to senior year in college, I had 14 people working for me. I had 3 trucks, so I had 3 crews going, and I had a painting crew, and I was just running around managing the business.
So let's back up a little bit. So you go from Duxbury High School to where?
Bridgeton Academy.
Oh, so you do a PG year.
I do a PG.
See, this is
year.
my favorite part about the show.
Yeah.
I've known Pete for, 20 years, and I didn't know you did a PG year at Bridgeton.
Now, here's a story behind that.
Okay, that's why we're here.
And so one night, my mother and I are opening up letters from the colleges that I had applied to.
Yeah.
I didn't get into a single college.
So all small.
All small letters.
Yeah,
not very heavy.
not the big ones.
Not
just
very
the small
heavy.
ones.
When I tell you I didn't get into a single college, I didn't get into a single college.
Not one college.
Mass Maritime, and you know why.
Yeah.
So it was and I went to the guidance council, and they said, you can go in the military or you can go in the trades.
Yep.
Those were my options.
Yeah.
And then someone turned me on to Bridgeton Academy. And Bridgeton Academy is the only school in America that's 2 things. All boys
Yeah.
and only grade 13. So 150 boys out in Bridgeton, Maine
Yep.
that come here that need a little nudge.
Yep.
They
Yep.
need a little help.
I love it.
All right. And
You should rename the school
right. And so I got
Nudge Academy.
and they focus on athletics
Yep.
and they focus on education.
Yep.
And I got denied at University of Massachusetts. Went to Bridgeton Academy. Got my SATs up a full 100 points.
Yep.
Got bigger, stronger, faster, the whole thing. I applied UMass early acceptance.
Okay.
You know that you can at UMass.
Yeah.
Everybody else's fallback position, fallback school. I was early acceptance.
Yeah.
I promise if you let me in on that.
I swear to
I
God.
swear to God,
I
I'll
am
come.
coming here.
I will come here. I will come here. And so I got into UMass and ended up you go to UMass after Bridgeton Academy. But that Bridgeton Academy was the pivot point in my life.
Yeah.
My life was going one way academically and God knows what else.
Yep.
I got into Bridgeton. They put their arms around me. They sort of guided me in the right direction, taught me how to study, taught me how to time manage, taught me, enough to get me into UMass to not fail out, not party my way out and get through school.
Yeah.
And, now I actually serve on that board now
At Bridgeton.
at Bridgeton.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's got an important place in your life.
big time.
So I think my cousin Chris Caldwell went there too.
It's amazing how many people you find.
Yeah,
actually
I think he
graduate
went
there.
from CM and then he went there, and then because he went up there to play baseball, I think,
Mhm.
and then from there he went to Northeastern and then from Northeastern he went to the Marines. But yeah, it's you hear more and more people that have gone to Bridgeton.
Yeah.
But during your time at UMass, you're still building this landscaping business.
I was. So actually at Bridgeton Academy, I had to do a project on form letters. It's before the the internet and email.
Yeah.
You type in some words and then it formulates a letter, and I mass blasted it to everybody in Duxbury.
Yeah.
And I built the clientele from that, and then into college, I just kept doing it. And then what was happening, I didn't get great grades in college. I was leaving school on Thursday nights, landscaping Friday, Saturday, Sunday, oftentimes Monday, in season, fall, spring, cleanups, all that stuff, and then shooting back to school
Yeah.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Yep.
So I was trying to, do both.
Yeah, which is hard.
It was hard, but I had commercial properties, I had residential properties, I had crews going, I was writing payroll and taking out taxes of people's,
Running a business
running a
at
it was a full-on
18, 19, 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yep.
And so what happens to that business?
So this is another pivotal point in my life is that one of my customers, Duxbury guy, I'm sure you guys know him, Kevin Gould, he was a client of mine. And I didn't really know what he did. I knew he had a nice big house, nice big property, paid his bills on time, and he had been watching me since I was a little kid. And my senior year, as I was finishing up his yard, he grabbed me and said, "What are you doing when you graduate?" I said, "Running my business."
I cut grass.
He goes, "Why don't you come over to my house on Saturday?" I came over his house. He's like, "Do you know what I do?" I said, "No." He said, "I'm in medical devices, and I've seen your work ethic. If you don't want to cut grass anymore, I got a territory up in northern Maine, and you can sell." And I said, What's the deal? He said, "I'll give you $38,000 in a Ford Taurus. And anything you sell, you get a commission on." And I said, "Sign me up. I'm in."
You're in.
That was it.
And that was it.
Landscaping done in the medical device.
So you just shut it down. You
Shut
just
it
you
down.
said, "Everybody, we're done here."
That's it.
Yeah, move on. Nothing to see.
I'm on to the next.
Jack of all trades is no more.
That's it.
I am
Done.
Audi 5000. That's a slang from like when we were a kid, right? I'm Audi 5000. So you just shut it down. So I got to ask, how much money were you making? How much money what was like the gross revenue from that business?
Over 100,000.
Over 100 grand. So you were making bank as a kid, as a 21-year-old kid. You were putting some money in your pocket.
I always had cash on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you essentially say, I'm going to move on from this and go do something else. Because you felt it would be more lucrative, or you just needed a change?
Both.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been in medical sales now for
Since that day. So I graduated UMass on a Friday, moved into an apartment in Charlestown on Saturday. I was at the time, it was Kendall Healthcare in Mansfield Monday morning for training.
really
And I haven't stopped since.
went from wearing, cutting grass to selling medical devices in a minute.
Basically 48 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. So talk to me a little bit about the career path since then. Like how many stops? What's the good? What's the bad?
Yeah, so first 8 years I was with that company, and I was a sales rep carrying the bag, as they say in Boston. They saw something.
Carrying the bag. What does that mean?
Pound on the pavement.
Okay.
Carrying the bag, cold calling, door to door, in our case, hospitals,
Yeah.
cold calling physicians.
And what were you selling at that point?
Cardiovascular equipment. So
Okay.
products for coronary artery bypass graft, hemodialysis catheters.
Oh,
that stuff, dude.
yeah. I know all about that. Move on.
So
Sleeping over there.
I was selling for a couple of years. They saw something. They put me into management, so I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
So I moved down to Atlanta. Now I'm a region manager. I'm running Georgia and Florida out of Atlanta. I was about 25 years old. First time out of Boston.
Yeah.
Ever. I moved to Georgia. It was like the whole world changed.
Oh, I bet.
Ethic,
Yeah, everything.
Everything
Yeah.
changes, right? 2.5 years there, they moved me back into Mansfield. Now I'm in the corporate office in a marketing gig. I do that for a year. I become vice president of sales for half the country. And a company out of Minneapolis calls me. It's a startup. It's a non-publicly traded company. It's a private company in the IPO world, right? So I go there. I'm national sales manager for them for 3 years. We end up taking the company public, and then we sold it to St. Jude Medical.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was 2007 to 2010.
Okay.
So we sell that company to St. Jude Medical in
So in 2010, you're what, 32, 33?
So I was 27. I was 30.
Okay.
Yep, 30. Sell the company, and then for 8 years, I'm at St. Jude Medical.
Okay.
And I did something different every year and a half. This business, that business, this type of product, that type of product. And then ultimately, I was senior vice president of all of cardiology for St. Jude Medical. And we sold the company to Abbott,
Okay.
which you remember, Abbott from the whole COVID stuff.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So
They were all over the place.
Abbott's massive. So then Abbott said, the CEO of Abbott says to me, "You're now the president of the cardiac division." And I said, "You didn't hear? I quit yesterday."
Did you really?
Uh-huh.
Why?
I remember I was driving past the Carter's family house on Church Street, heading to my own house. I still remember the phone call.
Yeah.
Because he was telling me how happy he was. I'm going to stay on and blah, 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 blah. He didn't know I quit 24 hours ago.
Why did you quit, though?
Because I didn't want to do the cardiac job.
You didn't
but
want
also I got a better offer. In my opinion, became general manager of the Americas for a company called Cordis.
Okay.
And they were going to let me build out the bag. And so I got a chance to go to Israel and bring the 5th drug-eluting stent into America. Brought in a cutting balloon, which is a leg device from India. And then another stent at a Dartmouth Hitchcock with this guy, Dr. Aaron Kaplan, and built that bag up. Rebuilt that team and then sold that company to a private equity firm called Ajax in San Francisco. And then that was 3 years later, and then I got a call for an opportunity for CEO of Vital Connect.
And that's where you are now.
That's where I am now.
So all of that, ladies and gentlemen, because you were cutting some guy's grass in Duxbury.
100%.
Literally.
100%.
Like, think about that.
100%. I thank him every time I see him.
That's an amazing, amazing nudge. And the Gould family is an amazing family, and they're members at Marshfield Country Club, and I know them a little bit. No, I don't know them like you guys know them, but every time someone talks about that family, they just talk about how great of a family they are.
Yep.
And Kevin's a head coach where? Somewhere, lacrosse.
He was
Is that Richmond?
He is someone. He
UMass Lowell?
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won like 9 state championships between hockey and lacrosse and golf, right?
His senior year, he won the golf title,
Yeah.
state title, hockey,
Yeah.
and lacrosse.
Amazing. Amazing.
They just inducted him in the Hall of Fame in Duxbury.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have done it like
He's got the
10
most
years.
points ever in that lacrosse program. A lot of people think it's Max Quinzani, but little do people know that Gould was just pumping him the passes for every goal that kid had.
Right. Gouldy was on the back end. So through all of that, at the same time, you're living in Duxbury?
Living in Duxbury, I was in Charlestown early,
Yep.
Atlanta, Duxbury, and then Duxbury the whole time.
Got it. And having, how many children do you have?
4.
4 total.
Yes.
Okay. What's the oldest?
Hadley's 16,
Yep.
Harper's 10, Luke is 8, and Matthew's 6.
Okay. So I see Harper the most around the rink.
Yes.
I don't think I see Luke and your other son all that much. Are they around the rink?
Matthew's around the rink, and if you look up the definition rink rat,
He's it.
there's pictures in the dictionary.
Okay.
Harper's there a lot because of the times and practices and things like that.
Yeah.
Luke plays town,
Okay.
doesn't play club, so he's not there as much.
Yeah.
And then Hadley's into cheer.
Yeah.
and
I
doing
knew
her
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so my Rose is a cheerleader, and she is by far my best athlete out of the 3 kids.
Yeah.
Is Hadley your best athlete?
No, she's the most nimble. You know, she could do the flips and the twists.
Yeah. See, I
and
consider
all
that
of
to be like
Yeah.
athletic, like that body control, core strength.
Well, you have
balance.
an interesting definition of athletics.
Oh,
I do.
You know, you don't consider people that go to the gym athletes.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know. That's a sore spot between Pete and I that we don't go near. We don't touch it.
Yeah, because I mean, you do a workout with an Olympic lift and a running event and a gymnastics event. You say gymnastics is athleticism, but gymnastics in the gym is not an athlete.
He was prepared.
Very
So
prepared.
I will say
texted me
this.
last night about this.
Did he really? I will say this. I feel like I got walked into something here.
I'm a sales guy. I know what I'm doing.
Walked me right down this path. This is what I'll say. That if that's the event, then that's an athletic event. When I'm saying go to the gym, I mean just like going on the treadmill or doing a spin class or something of that
Globo
nature.
gym,
What'd you call it?
like Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I could tend to agree with you.
Yeah, that's not really being an athlete. But if you were doing like what you described as gymnastics and running and the deadlift, I mean, I guess is that a sport? I mean, it's Olympic sport, right?
It's an
Deadlifting?
Olympic sport.
Yeah. All right. I will call you an athlete. I will not call you an athlete. Spinning.
I would love to see you take one spin class.
Hold on a second.
Me versus you, bike next to bike, and see who looks like the athlete.
You would win. Okay. I'm going to concede that, but it's because you're in better shape than I am doesn't mean you're a better athlete. Yeah. Don't side-eye me. I'm side-eyeing you.
We're gonna agree. To
I will.
disagree
You
here.
please.
I think the term,
I will lollygag into that gym and run you out of the place.
I'm an athlete.
You are,
You
but
just said I'm not.
not for spinning.
the qualifier is an athletic event needs to have a mechanism to keep score.
Okay. Does that mean Orange Theory is an athletic event? Because they keep score at that place, don't they?
They do.
Yeah. See, we could. By the way, this is a whole podcast unto itself. But yes, I will say that type of gym that type of sport.
Are you gonna lollygag into my gym? And
So is it lollygag or lallygag?
Lollygag.
You think it's lolly? What do you have it as?
lally?
Me too.
I think lally is some. Isn't a lollygag something? I like lollygag. I'm
Me
gonna go
too.
with
I don't like
lollygag.
lollygag.
Yeah,
I guess Lally.
yeah.
We got to look that up.
Actually, it might be Lolly.
I think it's Lolly.
Go to the,
Lolly.
go
But we
to the
say-
Google.
I think it's Lolly.
But we
It's
say lally.
Yeah.
All right. So, but
It's lollygag. Verb is lollygag.
interesting.
I talk in verbs.
So so is a lollygag a noun though? No. Are you a lollygag that lallygags? Bruh.
He sends her to Arizona every January to lollygag in the sun. We're lollygagging along.
Yeah, I don't know. So where are you now with Vital Connect?
Vital Connect. So we're a commercial stage private company.
Okay.
So what that means is we're out of the startup definition, which is pre-commercial, no product in the market.
Okay.
And now we've crossed over into what it would be considered late stage commercial private, which the next step would be a publicly traded company.
Okay. So you go from startup to where you are now?
Yeah.
Okay. And you called it a late stage commercial company.
Private company.
company.
Yeah.
See, I don't know anything about that world. Right as he's talking about it, his phone's blowing. It's someone from like Israel wanting to order a bunch of these things. Everybody's buying then sell. Everybody's selling then buy.
That's all you need to know.
And you've been there for a while.
4.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the ultimate goal is to take it public.
The ultimate goal is to have a successful exit for the common shareholder, Daniel.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well said,
Peter.
Mr. CEO. Just a couple of CEOs shooting the shit over here. I will say this: my common goal is for me to make money. No, I'm kidding, everybody. All my
I
investors
didn't
out
say
there.
who the largest common shareholder is.
I left out that important piece. Oh man. So how's that going?
It's great.
It's going well.
No, it's going good. You know, when we started the company, we had zero revenue.
Yep.
It was totally pre-commercial, and the last 4 years have not been easy to run a business, as you know.
Yeah, and very hard to raise money.
Raise money. The 2021 was the record year of IPOs in medical device and the most money ever invested in medical device.
Really?
2022 and 2023, not a single public company went public, and it was the record worst years for private med device companies to raise capital.
So you kind of hit it right at the wrong time because you probably weren't ready in 21.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Our company was the very last check raised in medical devices in 2021.
So you got in just under the...
The wire was due at 6 o'clock, and I had reservations at Alba, because you remember these moments.
Yeah.
I had reservations at Alba. We're going out for a holiday dinner, and the wire had to come in by 6 o'clock, and I was on the call with the firm in New York, and the wire came in at 5:47.
Wow.
It's a $30 million check.
Wow.
It was nice.
Yeah. That's to go enjoy your dinner at Alba.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Dessert's on you.
And that goes towards running the company, keeping
Yeah,
the
I
lights
mean, I
on.
don't
Yeah,
care.
no, you don't
Yeah.
care. I know, but that's just so everybody's clear. He's not walking out with 30 milskis in his pocket, but it keeps the lights on for the next 2 or 3 years. Takes
does.
that pressure off.
Takes the pressure
And now
off.
you can go sell the device as opposed to raising money.
That's right.
Because that's one of the biggest hurdles that we had over the last, crowdlending's been around since 2016. And we raised it. It was a two-headed animal. Like we were raising capital for the company and trying to build the business, which is, selling and originating loans. And it's very, very hard to do both. When you're under the pressures of trying to raise capital, and we weren't raising it. We were raising it as our product, right? You were raising it to run your business. We were raising it as our product, which then produced revenue so we could run our business. So it's a little bit different, but kind of the same, right? We needed money, just the same way you needed money. And if you didn't pay attention to raising money, and then the product, we were selling money. If the loans got too many loans, now we're short product. We don't have enough widgets to sell, and people are looking for widgets, and we promised them we'd get them widgets. So we've now partnered with somebody that's doing all our capital raising, and it's such a relief. Raising money is very, very difficult. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
people
not easy.
can appreciate how difficult it is.
It's not easy.
No. And so how many people at Vital Connect now?
A little over 300.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are they all doing? That's a lot of people. Jesus Christ.
Raising money. It's hard. You just said how hard it is.
300 people. Jeez,
Everyone puts in
we
a
got, like-
dollar, and if you get that guy to give $1.
Oh my god! And what's the device? What is it?
It's funny.
I
you
just
say
said I
that.
just happen to have it
I
here.
just happen to have one here. I'll let Keith hold this because he's familiar with this.
Keith is
product.
actually the first
Patient zero.
patient zero, right?
Patient 1.
Yeah.
Yep. So what it is it's a remote monitoring sensor.
Okay.
So essentially, when you this wearable device, it's like a Band-Aid. You wear it on your chest, and what it has the capability of doing is monitoring your ECG, your heart rate variability, respiratory rate, core body temperature, your step count, posture of the patient, and fall detection. So the thesis of the company back in 2011 was to miniaturize the intensive care unit, or what you would experience in a med-surg floor general hospital environment, from a monitoring capacity, and allow the patient to be at home and not in the hospital.
Okay.
And so that's essentially what we do. We monitor patients as if they're in the hospital
Okay.
when they don't have to be in the four walls of the hospital.
So is there like a whole bunch of people in a room like watching computers? Like,
That's 300 people
Yeah.
come in. So back in San Jose, where our global headquarters is, we have basically looks like a stock trading floor,
yep.
but they're not looking at stocks. They're looking at ECG signals. And so we're sending the data in real time to the cloud, and then from the cloud, it's sending it to San Jose, and we have clinically trained people that are watching these patients.
Okay.
And we're watching 12,000 patients a month now.
Wow.
So it's a pretty significant number.
So that's
of
got
people.
that place has got to be going around the clock then.
24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 365. Yeah.
I was so nervous when I was wearing that thing.
Why, you didn't want to get a phone call? You're dying, buddy.
Well,
it's all over.
I kept asking Pete for the report, and he'd be like, I just read it. It's not good.
And then it'd spike. I wanted to see if the product worked. It was
Right.
the first patient. So I'd freak him out, and everything would spike. I'm like, all right, it's working.
It's working great. Yeah. Patient 1 is having a spike. I just told him he's dying. That's amazing.
I think you said to me, I'll know when you get up at midnight to go to the bathroom.
And I did.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because you made a comment earlier about sort of the idolization of money and wealth and all that stuff. And you and I have talked a lot over the years about deals and how to make money and the art of making money, if you want to call it that. And, that was always a big driver when you were younger. We've been talking about it for 15 years, going back to when, early 30s. And it seems like your attitude has changed a little bit. So tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you say, how much is enough?
Yeah.
Right. And I used to carry that chip on my shoulder because I couldn't get into college. I was a UMass guy, and now I'm competing in the Ivy circle.
Yeah.
Right? And I still remember someone tell me, we call you guys at UMass the normals.
Really?
Yeah, at a business dinner.
Yeah.
So you know my quick wit.
Yeah.
I said, we call you guys from Harvard employees.
Burn.
That was Cap.
Yeah, that was so cap.
You ate that one.
He was so mid. I totally ate him. But, I had this.
Bruh.
It was
We
always,
call you guys employees, brah.
I just had this this sense of having to prove something to everybody and everybody around me. It's like I was always less than, not enough, not good enough, and I had to prove it and prove it and prove it. And I think now
And the measuring stick was money.
money.
Yeah. The measuring stick was money.
Yeah, because I couldn't prove it in the in the academics.
Right.
I wasn't playing in the NHL.
Right.
So what is the environment that is a level playing field for me?
Money.
I'll outwork you and I'll make more than you because that's a scorecard.
Right. Because that's a scorecard
Yeah.
that athletes keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that changed.
Yeah.
You grew up a little
I
bit.
grew up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I have flashbacks to, because I was like that for a long time, trying to make, that's how I measure, well, how much that guy have? What's he worth? What's he worth? And if you go through life like that, it becomes miserable.
Yeah, and you get to the point where, you're 85 years old and you're still trying to cut another deal.
Right. Right.
For what?
Yeah, for what?
For what? And you brought up the kids and driving around and your story there with Annabelle. It's great. And people. One thing that bothers me is hanging around the bog and hearing all the parents complaining about, I have to go here, I have to go there, I have to go there.
Yeah.
Something just change the narrative, which is I get to.
Yeah.
I get to drive Harper to Tingsboro tonight.
And spend time with her in the car.
I get to do this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And if you're lucky enough to realize that early enough with your kids, it will make it much more enjoyable because and Annabelle's almost 18 years old now. So I was always I get to go coach this game. I get to be part of this program. But there were so many parents that were like, ugh, we have to go where? You put us in a tournament where? What time's our game?
Yeah.
Ugh. And it's just like, you're miserable. Why are you doing it?
Yep, you're miserable.
If you're miserable, why do it? And you're making your kid miserable, and then you see the parents that were miserable now have 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that are at wonderful schools, playing hockey, doing whatever, and they're miserable. And they can't even see the joy and the opportunity that they have because that's the way the parents always were.
Yep.
It's contagious.
It's contagious. It's absolutely contagious.
Misery loves company.
It does.
So on that, Pete, thank you for coming in. I think you're a wonderful success story for what it's worth.
Thank you.
I know Keithy does too. He was a little quiet today. I think he had a bad day. But I'm gonna leave you guys with one more story, and it kind of dovetails with what we talked about and changing mindset and having the right people around you. So there was a Harvard psychologist, funny you say
There
Harvard, by the name of Robert Rosenthal. Okay, and Robert Rosenthal went into a elementary school called Spruce Elementary School in Southern California, and he told the teachers that he had a test called the Blooming Intelligence Test, and that through this test he could tell the teachers which kids were going to be the smart ones. At the same time, he gave them all an IQ test, so he had a baseline. So he gives them this test, the Blooming Intelligence Test, and he identifies 4 kids in the class that he says these are your smart ones. These kids are going to be the smartest. And so he comes back at the end of the year and he gives everybody an IQ test. And when you know it, those 4 kids, their IQ went up 27 points, which I guess is a lot of points in a year. And so the teachers are like, well, yeah, your test works. And he says the test was a fake. It was all a lie. And he called it the Pygmalion effect. And essentially, the kids got smarter because the teachers believed in them that they were the smartest. And because those teachers believed in them, the kids started to believe in themselves and started to excel at school and get better at it. So the moral of the story is surround yourself with people that believe in you. And if you surround yourself with enough people that believe in you and believe that you can get it done, then you'll all of a sudden start getting stuff done. So it goes back to I get to drive them in, or changing your perspective on life. So if you surround yourself with people that are positive and saying, hey, we can get this done, whether it's Vital Connect, crowd lending, a hockey team, a spin class, whatever it may be, then I think you're going to be better off than if you surround yourself with a whole bunch of naysayers saying this is miserable, oh, we have to go here, we got to do this. You get to. That's the message in today's podcast.
Beautiful.
Right?
Right.
Pete, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Keith, thank you very much.
Danny, Peter, great job, buddy.
Root Beer, another fantastic episode. Everybody out there knows how to reach me because, as you know, everybody needs a nudge. See you guys. Thank you. Peter. See you, bud.
Thank you.
Woo!